Hello, I'm here on Church Street on this very busy Friday afternoon. The conflict in Israel is now escalating across the world and even here in Britain. But my point being, the new arrivals being dispersed in our glorious city hold the same values, standards, beliefs and culture as those escalating this conflict across the world. So is it in Liverpool's best interest to disperse more and more new arrivals into our glorious city that hold the same values, standards, beliefs and culture as those escalating this conflict across the world? Well, the answer is no. You ain't being refugees welcome. You really now need to reassess what you've been saying. It is reckless, it is dangerous. We are now seeing across the country, Birmingham, Manchester, London, Bradford, those with the same value, standard, beliefs and culture as those escalating this conflict around the world, flexing their muscles because they have sunk their roots so deep in those parts of Britain, they're now in the driving seat. And not only do the local people dance to their tune, they're now flexing their muscles. That's what happens in Bern, right? So why would we want the same to happen to our glorious city, where we dispersed so many new arrivals with the same belief standards, ways and culture as those escalating this conflict around the world? Why would we want to do that, right? It doesn't make sense. Why would you impose that on our glorious city with your refugees nonsense, right? And you know it is. You haven't thought it through, and like I've said, those words, refugees welcome, they'll come back to haunt you, and that is exactly what will happen, right? And all the rest of you, refugees welcome, that I don't believe really understand what you're saying. You're just doing it for votes to be liked and backslapping and whatever else. Because we can see now this conflict is escalating, not just around the world, but here in Britain. And the new arrivals coming into our city, they hold the same values, standard, beliefs and culture as those flexing their muscles in Bradford, Birmingham, Manchester and London, right? As well as those across the world. So the more new arrivals get dispersed in our glorious city, whenever any of these conflicts arise, they're immediately in solidarity and support. We're made to believe that once they come here, they're going to be Scousers. And like I've said before, they've no intention of being Scousers. They've no intention of assimilation or integration. They want domination, right? And that's what's happening. That's what's happened now in Bradford, Birmingham, Manchester, London. And it will happen here if we don't stop. More new arrivals being dispersed in our glorious city. So you ain't being refugees welcome. You need to sit down and think very hard, sir, instead of pushing this nonsense, which is all just for your political career. It's not for the long-term benefit of Liverpool, right? It is for you. What do you believe is going to happen once the new arrivals have sunk their roots so deep in our city, there in the driving seat? We dance to their tune. And also, because they're going to be in such large numbers, they'll start flexing the muscles like they're doing in Bradford, Birmingham, Manchester and London. This is of a serious nature now, what is happening, right? Not just across the world, not just in Britain, but here in our glorious city. We can't afford this to happen to our city. This is wrong. People like you, Ian Byrne, you're reckless and irresponsible. Like many other refugees welcome, obsessives that are really just spouting this nonsense for political reasons, and as I've said, to be liked and career-wise. Not only is it thinking long-term what this is going to mean for our city. The conflict we now see escalating around the world, we don't want in our city. And so common sense prevails that we don't need any more new arrivals coming into our city with the same values, standards, beliefs and culture as those escalating the conflict now across the world. I hope I've made my point. I hope I articulated that well. It's getting very, very busy. I hope you can see where I'm actually coming from here. This is no laughing matter anymore in Bern and all the rest. It is of a serious nature what has happened, what is happening now. We're seeing it in our own country, right? These people hold no allegiance to this country, and like the ones in our city will hold no allegiance to Liverpool, right? They hold allegiance to their ways, beliefs, values and culture that they hold so dear, that they've brought with them and have no intention of letting go. They'll never be Scousers, they'll never assimilate, they'll never integrate, they just want to dominate. We have to stop this. Our city's future is under threat. Okay, thank you.
What do you think about the narrative at the moment to people crossing the channel? How do you think that we should be tackling the small boats crisis?
I'm quite simple. Refugees welcome.